Weak wisdom is understood. This star is named the hare nature. One who is liberated. Birth and death do not reside, all dharmas reside, they cannot obtain. The great freely acting king of the Tathagata. One name is inconceivable. One name is the body. One who is immortal. One who is a great immortal, though names differ. The volume is one. If there is great wisdom, then one can understand that the original mind is called the Dharma nature. It is also called liberation from the cycle of birth and death that cannot be affected by it. All myriad dharmas cannot influence him. This is also called the Tathagata of great freedom, and also called the inconceivable. Also called the body of immortality or the great immortal. Although the names are different, but the essence is the same. The sage distinguishes various things. All do not depart from the mind. The mind is vast. The application is boundless. The eagle's eye sees forms. Baby tattoo. Her nasal fragrance. Cherry snake. Even losing his movement unveils the original heart of the sage. In distinguishing the various phenomena, one does not depart from their original mind. The heart of the original star is very vast. The application is endless. In the eyes, one sees forms. In the ears, one hears sounds. In the nose, one smells fragrances. In the tongue, one tastes various flavors. Even in all actions and movements, all are manifestations of the mind's function. All clocks. But with language, there is also cutting off. This is the self-mind. Therefore it is said, the form of the Tathagata is endless. Wisdom is also rekindled. Form is endless. The mind can distinguish everything, even thoughts and applications. All are the wise mind without form. Wisdom is also limitless. Therefore it is said that the form of the Tathagata is limitless. Wisdom is the same. At any moment, as long as there are subtle realms that cannot be described by words, it is the manifestation of your own self-confidence. Thus it is said, the Tathagata's form is endless. Wisdom is likewise so. All things born from self-confidence are endless. And the new consciousness can be skillful, distinguishing all things and phenomena, even all actions and movements. All belong to wisdom. The mind has no form, wisdom has no boundaries. Thus it is said that the form of the Tathagata is limitless, wisdom is easy to obtain, the four great elements are the very body of affliction, while the ultimate Dharma body is always existent and does not dwell anywhere. The Tathagata's Dharma body is usually not convenient. The golden clouds manifest because they know that Buddha nature inherently possesses its own household matters. This is the mind. Mind is the nature. Both are the same as the minds of all Buddhas before and after. The Buddha points to convey this mind. Except this mind, 5 Buddhas can be attained. Confused beings do not know that the self-mind is Buddha, seeking outwardly all day long in confusion, venerating the Buddha. Where should the Buddha not be seen? One should not have such views but focus on self-awareness. Outside the mind, there is no other Buddha. The body composed of the 4 great elements is affliction, because the physical body is subject to birth and death, but the Dharma body exists constantly in that which does not dwell. Self-confidence is like a Tathagata. The Dharma body is constant and never changes. Thus the scriptures say that all beings should know they inherently possess Buddha nature. Household matters meet the Buddha, blooming flower smile, understanding is not deep. The essential nature of alkali is simply the self-mind. This is Buddha nature. Buddha nature is identical to the original heart of all Buddhas. The Buddha before and the Buddha after signal the transmission of this original heart. Besides this fundamental mind, there is nothing to be gained, the deluded beings. Not knowing that the self-mind is Buddha, always gathering outwardly, pursuing endlessly and being busy all day long, continuously reciting the Buddha and contemplating the Buddha, but where is the Buddha? There should not be such dissection. One must know that besides the self-mind and Buddha mind, there is no other Buddha. All things are illusions. It is said that wherever one is, there is a Buddha. The self-mind is Buddha. Do not compare the teachings of the Buddha, yet there are appearances of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Do not unnecessarily honor each other in monetary matters. My mind is empty, there is no such appearance. If one aims towards it, it is greatly deceptive and falls into the wrong path. If it arises, change accordingly. There is no need to listen to respect. Those who do not know do not understand. The one who understands is not affected by the delusion. Therefore, engage in transformative affairs as scriptures say. All forms are mere illusions. It is also said that wherever one is, there is a Buddha. The mind is itself the Buddha. There is no need to worship external Buddhas with self-confidence. If suddenly a Buddha or Bodhisattva appears, do not worship the self-confidence. Originally, the emptiness has no appearance of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. If one seeks through appearances, this is to fall into the errant path. These fantasies are born anew. Originally, there is no need to worship externally. The people in the cauldron do not comprehend the truth. A wise person will not worship externally. If speaking from the cauldron, one may be controlled by demonic forces. I fear that those who learn may not know, therefore, I inform them that this can be discerned. All Buddhas have no such appearances in their true nature. All illusions are taken seriously. but there is a realm of intention. There is no need to widen the search or feel unfamiliar. Do not be doubtful. My heart is originally pure. Where could such appearances come from? Even heavenly dragons, night-crawling ghosts, deities, and kings, etc., there is no need to give rise to respect. Do not be afraid of gathering my heart. Originally, everything is an illusion. All appearances are to be seen as such. But do not take an aim. If one arises in the forms of the Buddha, the sword of the Dharma, and Bodhisattvas, while honoring oneself with respect for others, do take a moment to silently grasp all appearances. There is no other language. Today it is said that all forms are false hopes and there are no fixed times or directions. It has no long hair, but do not take directions and intentions towards others. Take care that golden clouds depart from all forms. The ultimate nature of all Buddhas is empty, and thus these illusions do not exist. Be sure to take note. As long as strange realms arise, never pay attention to. There is no need to fear. Do not be troubled by doubts and have confidence. How could there be such illusions close to the truth? Even heavenly dragons, night-crawling ghosts, deities, and kings, and so forth, outwardly there is no need to give rise to respect. There is no need to be afraid or anxious. Confidence is originally empty. All appearances are mere illusions. What is seen should not be taken as a direction. If one arises in knowledge of the Buddha, they only refer to the forms of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. The heart produces reverence. One will fall into the status of sentient beings. If one wants to directly meet the Buddha or Bodhisattvas, as long as one does not take all appearances, that is sufficient. There are no other methods. Therefore, the scriptures say that reversing all external pursuits is all false hope with none. The constant substantial illusion has no permanent form. This is the impermanence of the world. As long as one does not take directions, it aligns with the truth. Therefore, scriptures say reverence. All forms are the bright, clear Buddhas. Ask why it cannot discuss the Buddha and Bodhisattvas. Why can't one pay respect to the Buddha and Bodhisattvas? Response: the celestial demon-like wave of the Asura event shows the various manifestations of the Bodhisattvas. These changes belong to external paths, not the Buddha's response to the celestial demon and the Asuras. With divine powers, one can still admire the appearance of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. These various external changes are the practices sought outside the mind, and are not the way of the Buddha. The Buddha is within the heart. Do not neglect to pay respects. Buddhist painting from the Western countries. This matter is called awakening nature. Scholars with spiritual insight should respond appropriately and act with dexterity. Reveal your trust in your own dignity. Nature is the stars, thus, it is Buddha. This is the way. This is Zen. The word entangled. Not surpassing the common. I am my own original heart. Do not worship incorrect objects. Buddha is a term from India. In China, it is called awakening nature. The principles of the noble are all about how to handle things with grace. Move hands and feet. All are used with one's own awakened nature. Belief is like stars, it is the Buddha. The Buddha is the way is Zen. This word is not for ordinary beings. The sage may be contained in a volume. It is also said to see the essence and flavor entangled. If one does not see the original nature, this is indeed extraordinary. Even if it is said in countless words, if one does not see the original nature, simply an ordinary person, this is not Buddhism. The profound way cannot be illustrated through scriptures. But to see the original nature, that word is not about moral conduct, is the Buddha's holy body, originally pure, without mixed wisdom. All verbal expressions connect with the sages. Starting from the heart to employ the original emptiness, names and words are not sufficient to define it, therefore, it is not a premium worth. Master Damo also said, borrowing the original nature is Zen, if one does not see. The original nature is not Zen. Enabling a person to explain thousands of golden discussions. If one does not see the original nature, it is just the ordinary person speaking. It is not the profound doctrine of Buddhism guiding the true path. It cannot be comprehended by words. What basis does the classic hold to completely express the realm of the true path? As long as one sees the original nature, it does not matter if one does not recognize the characters. Gradually, nature is the essence of becoming a Buddha. It is originally pure. There is no contamination. All teachings and discourses arise from the sage's original mind that triggers wondrous functions. The essence of these is originally empty and illusory. Words and language cannot describe it. What basis do the Tripitaka and 12 volumes of scriptures have to appropriate the source without correcting their flavor? It cannot be spoken to others. Only the Tathagata knows, while beings such as humans and heavenly beings do not perceive. Ordinary beings cannot reach. Therefore, there is a direct appearance, not understanding self-confidence, originally empty, wanting to look directly towards the urgent law, falling into ways of externalism. If the spider's method arises from the mind, there should not be a quality of contraction. It is not knowing the true way, which is originally complete and does not require deliberate revision. It is not sound or form. so subtle, difficult to see. Cultivating the way is like drinking water. One knows whether it is cold or warm. Only oneself knows it cannot be explained to others. Only Buddha can understand this realm. Others, such as heavenly beings and sentient beings, cannot know. A common person's wisdom has not yet reached that realm. Thus one will only grasp outward and not understand the true nature of the mind. Originally empty, clinging to delusions and external appearances, one will fall into the wrong path. If one knows that all phenomena arise from the mind, one should not produce attachment. If one clings, one does not understand the truth. There is no wisdom. If one sees the original nature, there is no need to read scriptures or recite the Buddha. Broad learning is meaningless and time-saving. Is the wisdom and teachings of words the way? The rice does not speak, words lead to disappointment. If beings gradually gain faith, the Tripitaka and the 12 divisions of scriptures are considered superfluous words. Countless words are used to assist beings to gradually gain faith. As long as one understands the truth and teachings right now, there is no need for more. The supreme truth cannot be described using words. Doctrinal phrases are not the truth. The true way has no words. If there are spoken words, they belong to delusion. If at night you dream of towers and palaces resembling horses, rats, and trees, groves, pools, pavilions, etc., do not give rise to one joyous thought. These should strictly be taken into consideration. At the time of death, do not take aim, anxiously storing away, shifting the heart and sticking to it, and the devil sets it up. The Dharma body is originally pure and without lifespan. One wishes to be deluded and is oblivious, not knowing how to forget and endure suffering. Thus, those who are joyful cannot be at ease. Like a handkerchief and a duck, the original body and mind are not stained by habits. If from the sanctified entering the complex views of various mixed categories, one should regard oneself as all beings. Therefore, the sage flows freely in every moment. All karmic actions reside with others. The holy city of wine has great power. All categories are turned by the sage. Heaven and hell are limits. If at night one dreams of palaces, towers, horses, trees, forests, ponds, pavilions, and other scenes, one should not give rise to any favored paralyzed thoughts. Otherwise, all these are reincarnations. Wherever you escape, be sure to take note. At the time of death, one cannot directly grasp any phenomenon to break the obstacles. As long as any doubt arises in the mind, one will be controlled by the demon, as the true body is originally close and untainted. It is only due to a moment of unawareness that one loses the path. Not knowing the original word contains the Buddha nature. It is because of this that one is unruly. Thus, having attachments and preferences, one cannot be at ease. If in the present moment one verifies that objects are originally pure in body and mind, thus there will be no further contamination by various habits. If the saints of gradually appearing stars enter the sail, transforming into sentient beings perspective, various kinds of methods adaptively transform according to conditions. Thus, sages respond without action, gaining freedom in all sorts of environments. All karmic forces cannot influence him. The saints of gradually appearing stars. After a long time, there will be great power. All kinds of karmic forces will be effortlessly turned by the saints. Whether in heaven or hell, it cannot be helped. Unexpectedly, ordinary beings and divine beings differ. The sages are clear both internally and externally. If there are relics, they do not create or wander in birth and death, regretting the formless past of poverty and suffering. All arise from delusions. Without sitting, one sits. This is to enter the sword of the thus come. Ordinary beings do not illuminate themselves like the sage inside and out. If any matter gives rise to doubt, do not engage in it, because it is possible to wander in the cycle of life and death. Then it will be regrettable. There is also no way to save it. The poverty and suffering of life all arise from delusion and thoughts. If one can realize the emptiness of the original nature, teach this truth to each other. Encourage the inner self to be without action, outwardly following conditions. All adapt according to circumstances. Always assist in self-confidence as the energy enters the Tathagata's principles. Emerging into the new divine market is always uncertain. Those who assess the realm in a dream should doubtlessly be self-generated, not relying on external sources. If one dreams of a bright light appearing, brighter than the sun, and in the vision of the realm of Dharma letters, if this occurs, it is the sound of achieving the way for self-awareness. Cannot be spoken to others. Or walking or sitting or lying in the garden, seeing light, whether big or small, do not speak to others and do not marry. It is either self-confident brightness or moving quietly in the dark of the night, observing the bright universe, without any meaning, and should not be surprising. The sick person's mind desires clarity. In the dream of the night, one sees stars and moons distinctly. Also, the self-mind is like a round pearl nourishing. Do not speak to others. If the dream is cloudy, it is like in darkness. Thus, feelings are internal afflictions that swell. One can also know oneself. Those who have just begun their practice are often unstable in spirit. If in dreams one often sees unusual phenomena, do not doubt that everything arises from one's own inner tendencies. It is not something that comes from outside. If one dreams of light appearing that is brighter than the sun, it represents that the remaining habits of the practitioner begin to show the nature of the Dharma. If such phenomena exist, this is indeed the cause and condition for attaining the way. But it's enough to know for oneself. There is no need to speak to others. Some people move in the garden, sitting or lying down, and see bright lights. Some are brilliant, some small, but do not speak of it to others. You should not cling to the direction. This is also the brightness of self-confidence. Some people are moving and resting during the tranquil darkness of night. Seeing brightness and daylight is not strange. This is also the manifestation of self-confidence and brightness. Some people see the clear moon and stars in their dreams at night, which also represent the various aspects of the self-mind. If conditions quickly summarize and cease, do not speak it to others. If dreaming in a state of dullness, it is like walking in darkness. This is the self-mind's affliction swelling heavy. One can judge and understand for oneself. If one sees the original nature, there is no need to read scriptures, recite the Buddha, or learn extensively. It is without meaning and saves trouble. Transforming marriage and capturing teachings is merely to signify the weak star. What use is there in looking at teachings? If one enters from the ordinary to the sublime, one must nourish the spirit according to the days. If abundant praise occurs, it will cause trust to shift into self-propagation, which is no different than the way. If one sees the original mind and original nature, there is no need to read scriptures or chant the Buddha's name anymore. This leads to broad learning and extensive listening. Instead, it brings no benefit. Will turn divine matters into a marriage. All the establishments in the teachings. All of this is to indicate the original mind. If already having the original mind, why need to study scriptures? Ordinary people see the nature and enter the sacred realm afterward. Must stop creating karma and nurture the mind according to conditions. If the wisdom of the heart is too heavy, it causes one's nature to change and contradict the right path. Deceiving oneself brings no benefit. The sage is free to come and go amidst life and death, revealing oneself unexpectedly. All karma resides in those who cannot obtain the saints to break the evil spirits. All sentient beings. Only seeing the original nature in past dullness extinguishes the spirit. If one does not fear false appearances, one will only exist in the present. Jade pearls do not value all dharmas, washing the night nurturing the spirit while washing clothes. Pure is naturally clear. Without using effort, one cannot practice the Buddhist teachings as an external path. Most violating the sacred meanings, busy all day chanting the Buddha's name, rejoicing in spirit, inevitably falls into samsara. Sages move freely amidst life and death cycles. Do not hide or reveal all your karmic forces. Cannot affect him. Sages have already dismantled all deviant swords and magic staffs. All sentient beings, as long as the original nature is seen, all remaining habits will instantaneously vanish, and one will see clearly. And not acquiring enlightenment, one must comprehend the present moment, which is now. If truly wanting to comprehend, one will truly reach a state of not being attached to all dharmas, delighting the spirit. Remove the remaining habitual tendencies. Naturally, one will understand. No need to intentionally exert effort. Outsiders do not understand Buddha's teachings, arguing that exertion at most violates the non-action principle in Buddha's teaching. All day long, they toil and labor, chanting the Buddha's name and entering the scriptures. Instead, it blinds oneself. Letting spiritual beings remain oblivious inevitably leads to the cycle of birth and death. Buddha is the wise one and the purposeful, widely seeking fame and profit. What use is being thick and solid, but not seeing almonds, reading sutras, chanting the Buddha's name, and diligently practicing the way, often sitting without lying down, broad learning and extensive listening, thinking that this is Buddha's teaching? That kind of sentient being is solely focused on comfort and leisure. No need for toil and busy work, widely seeking fame and fortune. What use is it after a person dies? People who do not see nature read sutras, chant Buddha's name, and diligently study and practice day and night, often sitting without lying down, broad learning and extensive listening, thinking this is Buddha's teachings. These sentient beings misunderstand the Buddhist teachings. The previous and subsequent Buddhas pointed out the impermanence of all phenomena. If one does not see nature, it is illusional speech. I attained Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, this world's great sinners. The 10 great disciples, including Ananda, are foremost in learning extensively from the Buddha while doing nothing other than learning extensively, and both sacred and external paths are of no help. Hiding in causation. Sound night retribution. Cannot escape life and death. Going against the Buddhist teachings is to harm sentient beings. Eliminating without transgression, the golden clouds flash, and people do not dive deep. With faith, eliminate the no transgressing. If there is faith, this person is Buddha. If one does not see faith, there is no need to take turns helping her. Good intentions are of no use. The causal relationships are evident. The previous and subsequent Buddhas only speak of enlightenment and the impermanence of all actions. If one does not see faith, merely claiming to be genuinely supreme and perfectly awakened, this is a great sinner. Among the 10 great disciples of the Buddha, Ananda is the foremost in hearing, but not understanding self-confidence in Buddha, having only learned extensively from the scriptures. Even the 2 sacred outsiders do not understand their own minds and the Buddha. They observe the laws of all things in the world to correct their actions. Is one still falling into cause and effect? This is the karmic retribution of sentient beings. Still cannot escape life and death. Violating the true meaning of Buddha's teachings causes misunderstanding among sentient beings. Killing such persons is not a transgression. Please be careful in interpreting and understanding the intent. The classics say that those without good roots have no faith in the Buddhist teachings. Killing is not a sin. Please be careful in interpreting and understanding the intent. If there is faith in Buddha's teachings, this person will surely attain Buddhahood. If there is no gradual faith, do not casually criticize others' virtues. Whether it is good or not, deceiving oneself is useless. Is it good or evil? In the dark, there is a natural power that is perceptible. Cause and effect are clear and distinct. Heaven and hell are only in front of your eyes. The foolish are unluckily dedicated amidst the darkness of hell, knowing nothing, unable to point out, ultimately. Hence, the misfortune. For example, it's unfortunate for a blind person to not believe there is light, even as one says. Also unfortunate, only wishing to blindly depend on others and transform into daylight for people. A righteous father is like this. Nowadays, various beings are born. But under poverty, one cannot seek life and cannot wish for death. Though suffering under questioning, I find joy difficult to attain in heaven. Thus, it is known that all sentient being situated in joy, also, not realizing or knowing like a silk thread of the wicked, only due to heavy karmic obstacles. Therefore, those who cannot generate faith are not free. If one establishes the self-mind as Buddha, no longer eliminating deluded states, the layperson is also a Buddha if one does not see nature. Shave one's hair. Also, dealing with outsiders. The retribution of heaven and hell is right before one's eyes. However, those who eat fish do not believe, even being in a dark hell. Unknowingly, it is because the karma is too heavy. Thus, they do not believe the facts. It's like a blind person who does not believe there is light in the world. Even if told, they also do not believe. Only because their eyes are blind, unable to see sunlight. The same goes for those who eat fish, having reincarnated and fallen into mixed births, or being born into poverty. Living a life where one cannot seek life or death. Although they suffer the retribution of pain, but when asked, they still feel pleased with themselves, saying one is very happy. It feels like being in heaven. Thus knowing that all sentient beings think of their living places as a happy paradise, regarding the true pain of life, unconsciously like this, carrying bad karma, because of deep karmic obstacles, so it cannot produce faith in the truth of Buddhism. One cannot rely on oneself. If one can realize their original mind, they attain Buddhahood. The key is not to become a monk or shave one's hair. One can also attain Buddhahood while living at home. If there is no gradual faith, shaving hair and ordaining is also seeking the Dharma external to the heart. Ask the agreement of having a wife at home and whether operating without severance can lead to tranquility in becoming a Buddha. Ask if there are wives in a householder's life and if they are operating without severance. On what basis can one attain Buddhahood? About directly speaking of faith without using grand metaphors, just to say that faith is not seen. As long as one sees faith, originally emptiness cuts off ears. Except for one who does not take pleasure, even if there is remaining virtue, cannot cause harm. Why is that? Nature is originally pure. Therefore, though situated among the five aggregates of form and sound, its nature is originally pure, untainted by the Dharma body. Originally, there is no reception, no mechanism, nothing to gain, no cold, no heat, no illness, no love, and no relatives. No suffering or pleasure, no good or bad, no shortness or length, no strength or weakness. Originally, there is nothing that can be obtained. Only wishing for this form, sound, and extreme hunger, cold, heat, bloating, and sickness, etc., resembling being indirect to oneself. If one shifts to great liberation in life and death, there is no place without peace. If the heart's friendship is determined, it penetrates all realms. However, it is best not to do anything. Inevitably in the cycle of birth and death if one sees faith, clinging to the head of a lotus, it results in Buddhahood. The key to answering enlightenment lies in gradual understanding, not in grand metaphors. Because sexual metaphor has nothing to do with gradual nature. As long as one gradually believes, immediately know how to operate. Originally, emptiness directly leads to cessation, will not crave, cling, or become attached, even if there are still remaining habitual tendencies. It will not cause harm. Why is that? Because self-confidence is originally close, although situated within the five aggregates of form, but self-confidence has always been close. Unable to be stained or polluted, the Dharma body is inherently unaffected by the inorganic, incapable, without cold, without heat, without illness, without love, and without attachments. No suffering or joy, no good or evil, no short or long, no strong or weak. There is nothing that can be obtained. Only because of attachment to this physical body, there arise hunger, cold, heat, swelling, sickness, and so forth, if not attached to thoughts. Thus, it can follow and act as wished. In the midst of life and death, one attains great freedom, transforming all dharmas and resembling sages, with spiritual powers free and unobstructed. Everywhere, there is ease and freedom. If there is any doubt within, absolutely cannot penetrate any realm. At this moment, having no actions is the best way to create karma. One cannot avoid the cycle of birth and death. If the stars gradually gain faith, even the lowest level of people can become Buddhas. Ask how the Rakshasa born can accomplish Buddhahood. Ask how someone without good roots, who kills and commits evil deeds, can become a Buddha? Answer, stating the truth without talking. Although karma is made, the karma differs. All actions cannot be seized. from the non-existent circumstance. Great victories come only from not seeing nature, falling into hell. Therefore, engaging in actions leads to the cycle of birth and death. Do not engage in karma from the nature of things. If faith is not seen while chanting the Buddha's name, one cannot avoid retribution, regardless of killing life. If one sees, belief is appropriate. Life is also not tolerant. To whom? Answer: to become a Buddha, only discuss gradual awakening, not the making of karma. Even having created various different karmas, all karmic forces cannot affect those of gradual nature. From the absence of a real situation to great success, people fall into the hellish fruits simply because they do not gradually believe, thus creating karma and cycling through life and death. As long as the nature of things is seen, karmic creation will cease. If one does not gradually have faith in chanting the Buddha's name, one cannot escape the retribution of the night. The point of faith in becoming a Buddha does not lie in killing. If one has gradually believed, all doubts are immediately eliminated. The karmic retribution of killing cannot influence them. The 27 groups of heavenly beings are just the earth transmitting new seals, and now coming to this land to impart sudden teachings of the great vehicle, and the heart is Buddha, not prolonging the boundaries, exhausting the hardships. Even entering water or fire, or climbing onto a sword wheel, sitting continuously without lying down is indeed a violation of the law of external paths. If this loss of fear moves the spiritual quality of consciousness, it strikes at the heart of all Buddhas. There are no other dharmas. If this is the Dharma, sentient beings, in a word, are not the meaning, they are Buddha. If not aware of one's own nature, even if the body is shattered like dust, in secret one cannot attain Buddhahood. Since the time of the Buddha, the 27 patriarchs have all transmitted new teachings. I have now come to China, only imparting the great completion of sudden teaching. The heart is Buddha. Not discussing holding precepts, exhausting ascetic practices, or even supernatural powers to enter water or fire, the body climbing onto sword wheels, or sitting without holding on. These all belong to outsiders. There is hygiene that destroys the law. If one recognizes one's usual actions and the spirited awareness within movement, your heart is equal to the hearts of all Buddhas. The previous and subsequent Buddhas pointed out the transmission of the heart. There are no other methods. If one knows this method, even an ordinary person who does not fit a single word can become a Buddha. If it is not one's own nature of awareness, even if the fleshly body shatters like dust, still cannot find the Buddha nature. Buddha is a name for the Dharma body, a name for the original mind. This mind has no shape, no cause and effect, no golden bones. Like emptiness, cannot obtain different qualities of love or other outsiders. This mind, apart from the Tathagata, can only benefit other deluded beings. This mind does not depart from the four great elements of color and sound. If it departs from the world, the mind cannot operate. Actions arise from ignorance. Like grass, trees, tiles, and rubble, the body and life have no inherent nature. The reason for movement is if one's heart stirs. Even speech loses its motion. Seen words and sensations are all movements of the heart. Movement is the heart's motion and its use. When the external mind moves, the inner mind does not move. Buddha nature, also known as Dharmakaya, also called the original mind. This mind has no form. There is no cause and effect, without bones. Just like emptiness, it cannot be grasped. It is not material with shape. It is also not from outsiders. There are the laws of existence and extinction. This original mind can only be comprehended by the Buddha. Other sentient beings are lost. Not understanding the original mind does not depart from the physical body. If the physical body lacks the original mind, it cannot move. The body itself has no awareness. Like grass, trees, and tiles, the physical body itself does not have spirituality. What is the basis for movement? If the original mind is stirred, only then will language, behavior, and other actions arise. All perceptions, seeing, hearing, and knowing arise after the mind moves. True movement refers to the original mind in action, and the activities of body and mind are the movements of the original mind. Beyond the activities of mind and body, there are no other original minds producing activities. And beyond the original mind, other body and mind activities cannot arise. Movement is not the mind, and the mind is not movement. It is not movement. Movement has no mind, the mind has no movement. Body and mind activities are not the original mind, and it is not body and mind activities. In the activities of body and mind, there are no thoughts of the original mind included. It is originally unmoving. Movement does not separate from the mind, and the mind does not separate from movement. No mind apart from mind, no movement apart from motion. The heart's use is motion, and use is the heart's movement. Use is indeed the movement of the heart. However, body and mind activities cannot leave the original mind, the manifestation of the original mind. Neither can it be separated from body and mind activities. The body and mind's activities are gone. The original mind naturally distances itself from activities. The original mind is unmoving and naturally does not give rise to any body and mind activities. Body and mind activities are the functions of the original mind. It is because the original mind is stirred. As long as there is activity, it is the action of the original mind. As long as there is a function in the mind, represents having a mind that stirs but not moving. No need to use the fundamental emptiness. Emptiness is originally without movement. Using the childlike mind, the mind originally does not move. Without activity, there can be no effect. The essence of the effect is the original mind, which is originally empty. Within emptiness, there is originally no activity. All activities and effects arise from the original mind. The original mind is inherently unmoving. observing golden clouds in motion yet not moved, coming and going all day long, and has never gone, all day long, gradually, yet has never seen, all day long smiling, yet has never smiled, every day acting yet not having heard, every day doing yet not having done, every day being joyful yet not having been joyful, and not having acted, all day long, yet has never constructed. Revisiting the golden cloud of speech leads to confusion. The mind shape extinguishes. Seeing, hearing, and knowing are originally collective. Thus, the classics say that the deep mind has activity, but the original mind is unmoved. All day long body and mind are coming and going, but the original mind has never moved. All day the body and mind witness many things. However, the original mind cannot be seen. All day long the body and mind are joyful, but the original mind has never smiled. All day the body and mind listen, but the original mind has never heard. All day long the body and mind are in awareness, and the original mind has never been joyfully engaged all day, and the original mind has never been joyful. All day, the heart is in action. However, the original mind has never. All day, the body and mind are safe, and the original mind has never settled. Thus, bodhisattvas, because of their original vows, speak of the ultimate truth, yet using all kinds of words still cannot describe it. Being exhausted of all thoughts still cannot be thought of. All perceptions and awareness are originally perfect and exhaustive. Even requesting to wash pain and oxygen, and a righteous curtain, people only wish to follow. Pain is unattainable. Be wary of the bitter retribution of the darkest night. Good karma has ultimate good retribution. Not only is hell called hell, but joy is also called heaven, if supporting the attack on emptiness. But it is not worth escaping. If one does not see faith, rewards in teaching are totally baseless. Not even to one or two. Moreover, regarding feelings of hatred, joy, pain, and itchiness, there is not much difference from a wooden man, because chasing after pain and hope is unattainable. So the classics say that the bitter retribution of the darkest night has good retribution in the brightest day. Not only does hatred lead to falling into hell, joy leads to ascending into the heavenly realm. If one knows the nature of hatred and joy is emptiness. But if you do not cling to hatred, joy, or anger, you can relieve the karma. If one does not see faith, saying virtue has no basis is absolutely unfounded. Speaking of these principles has still not been fully explained. It only roughly points out the content of writing and verifying the teachings, still not reaching even 1 or 2% of the whole. Song agreement. In a joyful state down south, one can follow the wide changes in Dharma realms, yet does not allow contention. I originally seek novelty, not Buddha, knowing the 3 realms as empty is without error. If one wishes to seek Buddha, just seek the heart pointing to the heart is Buddha. I originally seek novelty, while keeping to myself. Seeking the stars cannot wait for the new Buddha nature from the heart outside. The heart's emergence is the truest sustenance.